Okay. What's good? I got my voice back a little bit. I got my voice back. I got my voice back. I got my voice back. So y'all can hear me. All right, y'all. Lord, come on, y'all. You killing me. You killing me. All right, y'all. So we have some things to talk about. Um, another undisclosed location, but we're here, right? Y'all see the bed? It's not made up. The bed's not made up. So hopefully everything is smooth on y'all end. If not, we will get it handled. Man, how was y'all day? How was y'all weekend, man? Hope everybody weekend was safe. Um, we had did a little special, I would say, in the last screen. I was staying at one of my bros I met in college at the university, staying at his place over the weekend for my job. Until one day somebody asked me, "What you doing?" And then I could tell you, but my voice was messed up last as we set up. That's what I forgot, y'all. My disclaimer again. I forgot to hook it up. But look, my voice was messed up, as you could tell. I don't know if anybody caught that last screen. My voice was messed up badly. I was coming out with a little cold, little sinus infection. Well, it wasn't infected because I bounced back quick. Still taking some meds, but my voice, I couldn't talk. Like it was shattered, like as if somebody took my singing skills. And of course, we're going to talk about some higher education. First thing is first. I don't want to move because y'all might see my background, but I got to. So hold on right quick. Okay, 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 okay. So we're back. I'm hooking up the drive and setting up a little bit. Started a little early. I'm gonna read the disclaimer to you all. But some things to talk about, man. Higher education, like just some general things. I'm saying higher education professionals are mute. They're scared. Schools are scared. Schools' budgets are messed up. And most of all, how does it affect you as a student? And I came across a dope article not too long, because I work part time, full time ish with a job that's not disclosed yet. Because, it just be me in the chat sometimes, just me talking to myself. And we have some interesting things to talk about from that article. Two of them was pretty good. Not really no headlines to really talk about from a post on social media yet. And so let's get into it though. Like, I enjoy talking to you all, but I can't wait till we actually have a lot of people in here to talk and bounce off of each other, like always. Because there's nobody else doing this. There's nobody else like really talking about higher education and how you as a student can like thrive. Like knowing the details, knowing what's going on, knowing your worth, knowing your leverage to do better deals. And they actually talk about this, and one of them we're about to talk about. I called it College Signing Day. I think that'll get somebody attention, right? But we're gonna see. And let's do this. And mic check 1 2 1 1 2 1 2. So, mm, 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 mm. Computer always buffering when it's time to get action. Now my laptop saying I need another update. We just did an update. Crazy, right? Technology. They know I only got like a minute to get your attention, but they don't do me right. Computer don't do me right. Disclaimer. The videos presented here are for informational purposes only, and therefore, if you are to choose to attend an institution, please do your own research and consult with a specialist at your institution that you are interested in. I am not a financial aid specialist, academic advisor, or representing any institution. Speaking on behalf of creator, Henry is only speaking from his experience. So, with that due, as they say, or we got the boring stuff out the way, let's jump into it. So, the article that we came across by Jeffrey Salingo, I believe. I'm going to put that in the chat. This is his name. You can find him on LinkedIn. Remember, this is an organic space for higher education. And this is a good article, man. I feel like this article was very different. So, just to give some context, because you got to put context on everything, he talks about how, well, first and foremost, Syracuse University dropped the bag on the student, not a sports athlete, but a student. So schools apparently, after kids are making their decision, that's why I called it college signing day. After kids are making their decision about where they're going to go to school, showing interest, apparently some schools haven't been having enough enrollment numbers or enough students admitted. And due to the Trump administration, like demolishing their budget, the schools apparently would drop a bag on you if they need to enroll you. So we're gonna talk about it more. I'm just giving you some context, right? It sounds interesting, right? So like Syracuse, they said I can't read it because I'm not subscribed to that article, but or subscribed to that media outlet. But they said, why did Syracuse offer $200,000 worth of deals to teens who had turned it down? So if you was a student that was going to a school and you turned down a school pretty much like Syracuse, you turned them down, and then yeah, schools who turned it down, or Syracuse turned you down. It was going like vice versa. And so they were like, no, we need extra 100 because I always say in the videos, if you add a hundred students, like, and they're paying literally like in this article, I don't know how much Syracuse is, but they were paying like 86 a year. You add a hundred students to 86 a year. My calculator is not up because I updated my computer. That's like off the top of my head, that's like 860,000. If you 86 a year, I could be wrong. 100 times 86. Oh, I was off again with my. Oh no, I put too many zeros. That's why. 100 times 86,000. Yeah, no. Why I keep doing that? Why I keep adding that? But it said 8 points. Oh, it's probably doing that zone. 8.6 million. So that's an extra 8.6 million if you add 100 students who're going to pay 86,000 over the course of the years. So what they're doing though, before I get into this article, if they can get one student who was not first brought in, and then that student, oh, I got in, then they can get their friends, which will bring in an extra like amount. That's why they like to get students who are like going to schools. But we'll get to it though. So the actual article. So once again, I put the guy name in there, Jeffrey Salingo, and it's called "There is a Crazy New Wrinkle to Choosing a College: A Last Minute Round of Deal Making from Schools Eager to Boost Enrollment." Now y'all know I talk about this all the time. I talk about you knowing your worth as a college student. Um, Now I want to keep something in mind, like Syracuse. They have. I gotta talk about this for my athletes real quick. Syracuse just got one of the top recruits in the nation for basketball. I follow basketball a little bit. I feel like sports correlate with the driving mechanism for colleges. I feel like, and they got one of the top players. They got a legendary NBA player's son, but they're still begging. Now Syracuse is still begging students, regular students, who's academic first, like really academics first, to come to the school. And they actually said too, the guy actually mentioned that schools are actually hoping. It was some with Kentucky. Some schools are actually hoping. Kentucky is hoping that their sports, I think basketball, but sports can help bolster some of the revenue and bring in some revenue because their budget is being cut. Like schools' budgets have been cut due to the Trump administration. So these schools are way over their head. In business, that's called overhead. They have way too much overhead at these colleges, as we talked about before. I was wondering when the day was gonna come, but it has come that these colleges are really collapsing. Now, what does that mean? Because colleges are still going to be open, but the real question is like, what's going to really happen to them? What if the colleges be like, well, what they going to do? You can't close all the colleges down, right? So that's a good question I would ask. So first part of this article, they said like a decade ago, First Lady Michelle Obama noted it college signing day with a nod to the anticipation around top athletic recruits committing to Division One programs. So, of course, it was built around sports, but we all know about signing day in college, right? Like kids excited that they got into the big schools. Like I got into da 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 da. I got into da da. It's like we know about them days, right? And so that's why I called it College Signing Day once again because apparently after the kids signed on College Signing Day, my bad, y'all, I was looking for my charger in case the laptop died. So where is it? Y'all almost got me. I thought y'all was gonna see that back, man. I can't show y'all. If y'all ask me. So, just that. College signing day. Students apparently are making decisions after the signing day. Now, the signing day is, I believe, I personally don't know what college signing day is, but it's after May 1st. I believe they said in the article as we keep going. But students were like getting not acceptance letters, but merit-based aid. So merit-based, as we know in his name, I didn't know what merit-based was until I went to graduate school. Shout out to them once again. Merit-based is like, oh, you participated in extracurricular activities. You was on the SGA team in high school. You was top of your class or whatever, things like that. So look, we're going to award you with this package, which is a form of like, as I said before, a discount. And they said that too in this article we're reading. They was like a merit based. They were like scholarships are just a fancy way to say discount on your tuition. And I thought that was funny. I'm like, yeah, that's all it is. Because if you don't have enough money based off that scholarship slash discount, you still got to pay the rest of it. Like if it doesn't cover the full bill. So let's keep going. And so it said both teenagers in colleges, the traditional expectations were fixed. Blah blah blah. We don't care about that. We already talked about that a little bit about how college signing day. They talked about the pandemic. Da da da. It got really into the meat and potatoes like after that paragraph. So they talked about Zoe, a 17-year-old. So I'm gonna read her story a little bit, and then please comment in the chat if you have any like questions as I'm going because I don't like to hear myself talk all the time. But until y'all gonna talk back to me and get this thing jumping, I gotta keep talking. So Zoe, a 17-year-old high school senior who lives on the East Coast, made her decision that this spring, thinking that this would be a normal year. On April 29th, I believe this year, April 29th, after weighing admissions from dozens of colleges, right? She was heading to USC, the University of Southern California, very expensive school too. Although she had several other colleges, y'all, they offered her substantial discounts in the form of merit scholarships, as we just talked about. The sizzle and prestige of USC was too good to pass up, according to her father. And so they said even that acceptance came with nothing in financial aid to cover, even if it that I don't know why they worded it like that, but they said her father Mark told me even if that acceptance came with nothing in financial aid to cover the university's 96,000 annual price tag with room and board. 96,000 for 96,000 to go to school is crazy. That is crazy. With room and board. As I told you, school 6 figures. It's a house. Sure, I don't know. You can get a house with 6 figures these days, but. And it says, a few days later, She started declining schools, as we talked about. And then Syracuse University offered her a personal distinction award. Never heard of that. Got to look it up. What is a personal distinction award? I'm gonna share that with y'all in the chat, and then I'm gonna research it while we're here because that's what we do, right? We gotta learn from each other. And if you knew what it was, I'm beefing with you, JK. A personal distinction. Come on, AI. You know they got this AI overview on Google. So a personal distinction award is a term that can refer to different types of awards depending on context. It generally signifies recognition for an individual's achievement, contributions, or excellence in a specific field or area. This could be within an organization, profession, or even a broader community. Sounds like merit-based still, but okay. So in the amount of 80, they offer her a personal distinction award in the amount of 80 grand. 80 grand. And as we like to say on the channel, remember, you're not gonna get 80 grand up front. They said it will be dispersed in increments of 20 grand per year. So 20, 40, 60, 80. Dang, she get 20 grand to pay for her schooling. And so it says not only did the award surprise Mark and his wife, which is her parents, it says for its time and coming at the May 1st commitment day. So let me be clear. I didn't even know kids can get these award packages after May 1st. Like you would think is what, June? You would think like May-ish or June or whatever that is done. But speaking on May, you would think it's done. Like you're not getting no more offers no more. Da da da. It's kind of coming off a little red, just a little red to me. Cause okay, but apparently you can negotiate as well with schools. Now remember, she was going to USC. Syracuse wasn't even in the, like, they pushed her to the side. So fast forward, Syracuse hadn't offered her. Syracuse did not offer any aid at all toward its $85,000 sticker price. Syracuse had not offered any aid at all toward its $85,000 sticker price. Once again, it costs you 85 grand to go to Syracuse, according to this article. We can verify though. We can verify. And I'm assuming that 85 grand counts toward like it. That's mixed in with the room and board and meal plans in that good nature. And like I tell you, room and board is separate. And so, which includes housing and food. Yeah, they said that. And they said they wouldn't play ball with us for months, but then they dropped a sack of 80 grand on us, said Mark, whose name, like others in this story, has been changed. So these not the real parents' names. It was like, holy cow, why didn't this come in 48, 72, or whatever number of hours before? And then it says the reasons behind Syracuse late breaking offer and similar actions from other schools. So like I said, other schools are doing this. So if you are a student, you might want to pay attention. Or if you're a parent guardian, you might want to pay attention. And you might want to show somebody this. Because I doubt you on LinkedIn, with all the Instagram and stuff out there. Instagram, ban me one day. So, where we was at. So it was a late breaking offer. They try to figure out why. And then they talked about the National Association for College Admission Counseling. I want to know them. I would love to go to a conference so that I can see, because I just can't get over that students can get offers like this, like last second, like a regular student. Like it's like real negotiation out here. And so, blah 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 blah. I'm skipping through some stuff. And where's the next part? So I did read too, quick, just to give you a quick. Enrollment hasn't been high since 2016, I believe they said, and then it started going down in 2022, I believe. But we're gonna keep going. A session that discouraged students from recruiting after May 1st was eliminated. Da 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 do. All right. The shift in practices this year is partly a result of financial uncertainty imposed on many schools. I hate this. Imposed on many schools by the Trump administration, as we said before. The White House had eliminated hundreds of research grants to colleges and universities, proposed deep cuts in remaining research funding, along with the share the schools, can take as overhead, and moved to deport hundreds of yeah, we talked about that. They're moving hundreds of international students on visas. That hurts the revenue for some schools too, not only just admissions, but their revenue. The admission policies have blown a hole in university budgets. Like we said, as they mentioned, I probably said a little too fast, but colleges and universities propose deep cuts in remaining research funding, along with the share the schools can take as overhead. So, like I said, schools got way too much overhead. And what does that mean? That means they have to scrap up money to pay for this overhead. And so the administration policies have blown a hole. We talked about that. I not talked about it, I said that. Da, 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 da. Right there. The administration have blown a hole in the university budgets for the next academic year, leading schools to cut spending and quickly look for new revenue everywhere. And I always talk about that. Schools were just, I don't know what they were doing with the last administration. And I got to say that because I was looking crazy. Now, I wasn't saying it openly, but I definitely got it in my papers. Schools should have known, and I got to keep saying it, they should have known this was going to come one day. It came in 2025, but it could have came in 2028, 2029, 2030. They were coasting and banking and just, I don't even know what to call it. They were just like, oh, we good. Everything's good. Everything's normal. Now they got to pay college athletes. That hurt schools. That hurt colleges. They got to pay them. They got to pay their staff. They got to pay their faculty. They got to pay those execs that make all that money. You notice they trying to scrape up money. They got the nerve to try to pull revenue from students, like add more students instead of just cutting back on their expensive salaries. I didn't see or heard one executive president at any college. These colleges are huge, man. We ain't talking about no small college. These colleges are huge. I haven't heard not one college president or exec say, you know what, shave my salary down to 250,000 or 150,000 a year. These presidents once again make millions, and the people under them, like the provosts and the VPs, make like half a mil. Depending on what school, they structure it different. College coaches make 13 mil at some schools. Football coaches make that bread. Athletic directors make that bread. I'm just giving you the organizational structure I learned in school. And so tell the school stop teaching it to me. But they're making a lot of money, man, but they don't want to shave their salaries. They don't want to sacrifice. And they suffer. They trying to pull money from places and it ain't looking good. And so getting back to this story, because I am so interested in this story. And so why are y'all making noise out there? Okay, even if that means offering last minute discounts to lure in a few more students who would still pay something in tuition as well as room and board. Adding another 50 or 100 students to their class is a nice hedge on many things, said Britt. Don't know how to say that last name. Once again, I'm not at the apartment, so the studio, so I cannot play his last name out loud. I'm gonna put it in the chat for y'all. Did it show? That is that guy's name right there. So he's a vice president at EAB. I don't know what EAB is. And it says an enrollment consulting firm. A vice president at EAB it's an enrollment. EAB is an enrollment consulting firm that works with colleges. So Check that out. Colleges outsource to work with consulting firms to work on their enrollment strategies. I don't see nothing wrong with that, but just they consult with outsourced people to strategize on how to recruit more students. I think that's helpful a little bit. I'll let y'all think about that. They are making decisions later in the game. Well, maybe we will want another 100 students to shore up some of our bottom line. The other big reason for the change is about demographics and the economic challenges faced by all but most elite schools. Like I said, big schools are struggling. Elite schools are struggling. They're struggling because y'all make me do all this talking. Big schools are struggling. Like you might see all the football games. You might see all the basketball games. You might see some people when I know when the Olympics come around, the gymnastics that gets a little popular. But you gotta think about it. Besides basketball and football, they probably like the most, and we can look it up. I think basketball and football, if we go to the NCAA, because they gotta show all that information. And we can talk about that once we get done with this. Ooh, it's getting juicy. I think besides football and basketball, I kid you not. Why did it do that? I think besides football and basketball, I think football and basketball make all the money. And the rest of the sports are just like staying alive because they're taking money from there to put into the other extracurricular activities at the school, to be honest. Because when I see all the NIL deals getting done, I do see football, basketball. I seen some softball, and we'll keep going. I know baseball is a pretty popular one too, but we'll keep going. We'll get to the bottom of it because this all goes together. And so I know I'm probably getting stressed out. And so, because I'll be looking, y'all, I'll be looking at the paragraph, and I'll be trying to pick the good parts that I looked at or am looking at. So, while we tend to talk about college admissions as if a single uniform process, blah blah blah, I don't even know. I don't even say that. It says the percentage of this is what I was talking about. The percentage of high school graduates going straight to college. The percentage of high school graduates going straight to college hit a high of 70% in 2016. By 2022, the last year available, it had dropped to 62%. It dropped to 62%. And that's 2022. I don't know why they ain't got like 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. See, I don't like all that missed data. I don't like it. That's why I don't like higher education data, really. It's broken. It's flawed. People who write higher education data are writing it from a traditional standpoint, a traditional mind, a traditional. People in higher education are writing data, and I don't care. You need to tell them and play this for your instructor or whoever writing stuff about higher education, not about their math or whatever. Higher education. Higher education people who write articles mostly are writing from a traditional mindset. What that means that they're not facing the reality that, hey, enrollment numbers are going down, but we steady increasing this. We don't really have the money as an institution, but we still spending money on these execs like crazy, like stuff like that, but they not talking about that. And so they're not going to tell you like, oh, did we hit our number this year? You'll know when a college hit their number. They're going to post it. But they won't tell you if they decrease or increase. That's why I say this is an organic space for higher education. They won't tell you that. Hey, did y'all enrollments increase or decrease? Well, we decline to answer that to the media. Well, if I show them and ask them like, why do you make so much money? If like in the students affairs section, me talking to y'all, don't let me get into other departments, but if y'all enrollment numbers, because student affairs deals with like, they're like over enrollment and stuff. Don't matter how you split it up. If y'all enrollment numbers are decreasing, why is your pay going up? Now, I'm just saying, if I'm not doing my job at work, why would my pay go up? Me, like my job. If I'm not doing my job correctly, you think I'm gonna get a raise? No. How they getting a raise? It's simple. It's simple math. It's simple like stock market. If numbers are going down, if I watch a company on the stock market, if I'm looking at their balance sheet, yes, I understand their balance sheet. If I'm reading a company balance sheet and I'm looking like, y'all revenue going down, y'all cash flow is diminishing, y'all not expanding, y'all telling me we're not really sure about the future. The future is uncertain. You think the stock gonna go up? No, the stock gonna go down. Higher education ain't higher education, ain't it? How y'all say it? Higher education is not higher education. Higher education is not higher educating. There you go. So I'm just saying, like it's real simple. But would they hire somebody like me? I don't know. They might blacklist me. I don't know. It's cool though. We'll figure something out one day. Basically, colleges across the country are competing for a shrinking pool of students. That is true. Students don't want to go to school. Students are like, because we're going to talk about this. We're going to get back to Zoe's story. We ain't done with Zoe, but they're going like, like I say, sub conversations. Students don't want to go to school. It's getting too pricey. Students are catching on. It's getting too pricey. If they keep watching this channel, y'all really going to have to change our recruitment. We're going to have execs, college presidents coming on the screen. Hey, you gonna have to answer some questions. You got some students in here potentially. You got to answer why prices keep going up, why tuition going up. So getting back on Zoe's story. So with the exception of USC, which accepted around 10% of applicants this year, Zoe had chosen less selective schools deeper in rankings. These schools tweak their financial aid formula almost every year. I need my financial aid specialist because I didn't know that. I need more details. And so that's why Zoe parents were surprised that she didn't get any merit aid up front from Syracuse because they tweak it. But she ain't getting none up front the first go round. Remember, she chose USC first. Syracuse came after May 1st, like after. And so, and Syracuse had a 42% acceptance rate last year. Remember, we talk about that at the end of every video, acceptance rates. This is why acceptance rate matter because I guess they have to do financial aid, giving packages and stuff. So it goes deeper and deeper. And then it says, especially since the school was her top choice early on. Syracuse was a top choice, but they didn't show her no love. We don't care about you, Zoe. They kicked Zoe to the curb. But then they want Zoe back, and they dropped that bag. So then the dad said, I skipped some. Look, they said Zoe showed interest by campus visits, opening emails. There's some game for y'all potential parents and students. Visiting campus, opening emails, and following the university on social media. I guess like hearting and making videos, showing off your little merch. Like, I'm gonna be a future school. It's my interest. I guess all that contributes to going to the school. And so why I say that? Because it says these are all the things the schools can track. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's interesting. I'm gonna write that down. Schools can track if you're showing interest. If showing interest. I'm gonna just shorten it because we gotta keep going. Showing interest. Huh. And so we good? We good. Okay. So Zoe showed that interest, blah blah blah. We read that. And it says from the school's perspective, this made Zoe a strong candidate for merit aid, a powerful tool for convincing students with multiple options to enroll, which in turn helped the school's key stats. Yeah. But okay, when the late offer came from Syracuse, Zoe's parents were reluctant to discuss it with her. There, there's the mind of a 17-year-old kid who announces to the world on social media that she's going to USC, who's now connecting with roommates and all of that. It's really hard to undo. And then the mother told me. But Mark, he was worried about the financial implications. The dad, Mark, that's his fake name in his article. He said, "We are not the ones to look at 80 grand and say screw it." He said, "Wait, nah, hold on now. USC they ain't dropping nothing. But Syracuse dropping the bag. Now I know you say you want to go USC, but you ain't there yet. You ain't on campus yet." So so he said they said the couple also knew from y'all should if you got a Facebook, we're gonna read this out loud. The couple also knew from Facebook groups that discussed paying for college and a financial consultant they hire. Wait. The couple also knew from Facebook groups that discuss. Why they say discuss? I'm reading that right, y'all. The couple also knew from Facebook groups that I'm gonna say discussing, but they say that discuss paying for college and a financial consultant they hired to manage the search process. That schools were sometimes willing to negotiate. I didn't know that. So they said from Facebook groups to discuss paying for college and a financial consultant they hired to manage the search process. They said sometimes schools are willing to negotiate. I didn't know that. As a regular student, schools are willing to negotiate. Man, it would break my heart if I didn't know this. Imagine you as a regular student. You didn't even know like going on Facebook groups. You just like applying and you can negotiate. It's crazy. So so the dad said I told Syracuse that they had to come back with something above and beyond for us to switch. Mark said it was a nervy Hail Mary, but I felt a little burned by Syracuse. A few hours later, Syracuse added another 10 grand a year to Zoe's award. What that mean? That means she went from 80 to 90,000. So that means she was gonna have 90 grand over her, I guess, 4 years of school. So they was gonna divide that incrementally up. So 90 grand went from 80 to 90. So it's definitely not a, yeah, it's not a, yeah. That's crazy. So Zoe wasn't the only one who received a late offer from Syracuse. According to the parents, posted screenshots of the letters and paying for college 101. So add that, look that up. Paying for college 101 is a popular Facebook group. Paying for college. This is game. Paying for college 101. Popular Facebook group. So it's a popular Facebook group. It's called Paying for College 101. You might want to join that because apparently parents in there showing like they're getting late offers from other schools as well. This is a trend. I know we're talking about this, but I ain't gonna lie, this gonna might they're getting late offers. Like schools are getting late offers. Not schools, parents are getting late offers from other schools. And we're gonna get into that, the meat and potatoes of it, before I just get my general perspective on it all, because it's kind of interesting to me in a way. Um, so where that school at? Another parent who also received a $80,000 offer from Syracuse even after they declined a spot in the freshman class told me her son ultimately decided to remain committed at that sounds like something in Louisiana. I never could pronounce that school. That sounds like something in Louisiana though. This college. College. I don't know how to pronounce that, but that college right there. That's definitely I think that school's in Louisiana. And it says where he will receive a need-based grant for $38,000 for his first year. He wanted closure, and his mother told me he had already moved on from Syracuse. So, or this mother told me he had already moved on from Syracuse. A Syracuse spokesperson wouldn't comment on whether the school missed its enrollment target for the fall or if officials were worried about their international enrollment. They wouldn't comment, like I said before, they wouldn't comment on if they missed on enrollment numbers. Red flag on the play. Or yellow flag, but red flag in soccer, I believe, red card. So I skipped some of this and I got into one I liked. I'm gonna do one more because it's gonna be all kind of repetitive. And then it said Facebook groups and Reddit threads are filled with stories of last minute discount offers from the University of Miami, Santa Clara University, and Seton Hall University, among others. Whether they work on families who have already made a decision is another question. One mom said her daughter received a $20,000 merit scholarship at Santa Carla on May 9th, way after May 1st, after getting nothing previously, but decided to stay with her original choice of University of Delaware. Even with the money, even with the money Santa Carla offered, the school is still more expensive. So if they would have took, that's a smart mom right there. That's a smart parent. Even if the mom or even if the parent that even if that family said they took that money at $20,000 to go to Santa Carla, it wasn't gonna be enough to go to school there. It's a good parent right there. And then right here, my last part, I gotta say this. The price of college tuition, even at the discounts, has more families weighing the price against the value of the brand name. Boom. And then I'm gonna go to the bottom. We was almost done, but I'm gonna go to the bottom. Oh, I don't like this guy. I don't like him. I'm gonna get messy. I don't like this guy right here. I don't like this guy right here. It said it appears that this kind of last minute deal making will also be the new normal. Starting in 2026, the number of high school graduates is projected to steadily erode throughout the next decade. We are now moving into the age of survival of the fittest, where revenue trumps ethics. Where revenue where revenue trumps ethics, said Angel Perez, CEO of NACAC. So this guy right here, he's the CEO, as it said, CEO slash president of I believe that's the national. I don't know what that is. They should have just said it. I know what it is. I don't know what their acronyms are. It's a lot of acronyms in higher education. I believe it's National Admissions College, something like that. Let me look it up. But he got interviewed. I had to show the clip. It wasn't a good interview. He interviewed on CNBC and it wasn't good. He told parents, it was like something like parents would have to be patient. Parents would have to be patient because they wasn't getting their financial aid on time. Parents wasn't getting their financial aid or their financial aid packets on time. But the schools were still sending bills like, hey, your kid gonna get dropped from the class. It was crazy. It was a bad interview. But apparently this guy is pretty good. I don't think he's good. A traditional mindset would think he's good. I don't think he's that good. The National Association for College Admission Counseling. That's what they are. And so the majority of our members want to do good for students, but if campuses don't meet their goals, it means essential questions about surviving. Blah blah blah. Okay. How I feel about that? All that, real quick, is I didn't know you can negotiate as a regular student about upping your package. Um, Really can't wait to upgrade the equipment so we can bring people on for like, man, like just bring them on. I could bring my big bro on. He's a financial aid expert because I didn't know that. I didn't know they can like send another package and say, oh, this student is worth, instead of giving them 80 grand for the year, like for the school year, not school year, for their time here, we can up it like to six figures or da da da. But it's changing, man. Higher education is changing. And enrollment is different. It's not the same. I don't really know how it used to be personally, but it's not the same, obviously. So you're giving kids or students who turned your school down or they turned you down, vice versa, whoever turned each other down, and you're just like, hey, we need more students because the current administration. Now that y'all know your budgets are done, your budgets are tight, and you don't know really how to navigate this current moment. So students, I'm not gonna lie, tuition probably is gonna go up. Your tuition per credit hour is probably gonna go up. If they're trying to get more students past the deadline of May 1st, ain't no telling they probably still sending packets out because it's June 16th. That's still some kids haven't figured out where they want to go to school. So they're probably still like, we trying to get more students to come to this school, and they might raise your tuition per credit hour for sure upcoming fall. Well, some schools already did. When we researched schools at the end of our live stream, some of them already have their 2025, 2026 tuition. It's like some of them already have room and board is going up because they got to pull revenue from different places. And it's something we're not having conversations about. And it's kind of bad because then you get into the conversation where are you going to have students finishing still? Because if prices keep going up, can the student finish their collegiate career going to school, passing classes? They can get there. That's called enrollment. Can you retain them? Retention. That's called retention rate. Can you retain them? And this is just as it came out of my mouth. Excuse my language. I ain't gonna say it, but it's a disaster. Like Sweet Life of Zach and called it. This is a disaster. This is a disaster. People gonna lose jobs in higher ed. But most of all, you can negotiate your packet when you apply for a school, a college, and whoever Zoe. That's not her real name, of course, but they didn't prep once again for the Trump administration. They didn't prep for what was gonna come. I felt like it was gonna come, but they're doing everything I expected them to do, besides deporting students. Besides that, I think they'll be doing flawless on how they're cleaning up the higher education because they just gotta either, I don't know. I don't want to say make it free, but that's not my call. It's about to get ugly. Remember, I said they're gonna start cutting programs. So let's go to the next one. We talked about that. I came across another one. It's called Let Colleges Fail. I didn't know how to feel about that. This one is not as, this just more of a post on social media. Didn't really go, it wasn't really, it's a book. It's not even an article. It's a book. So I just read the post. I picked some stuff from it. It's by Jane Shaw Scropp. I'll put her name in there. I don't know why I put her name multiple times, but that's her name. So it says in a forceful new book, Let Colleges Fail. Richard Vedder compares the creative destruction of businesses to the stagnation of universities. They are stagnant. And so this book, it says, set me thinking about whether creative destruction could operate on its own despite the government involvement. Here's what I came up with. Here's what she came up with. There's already been a drop, 8.5% from 2010, in the number of college students, and a demographic cliff is imminent. Imminent. I think she said imminent. So 8.5% for 2010. what? Hold on, what has fell from? There's been a drop, 8.5%, a number of college students. She didn't specify like enrollment or retaining, so I'm gonna skip that one. A public attitude is growing that college is not for everyone. Vocational education is coming back into style, and short-term education like coding courses are on the upswing. So, all right, I can talk about that. So, a public attitude, for sure. I got one of them. And it says vocational education is coming back into style. It never left. As a person, I'm pretty sure if we go, that lady I just posted, I'm pretty sure if I go look at her college, I'm pretty sure she never went to a 2 year. So like I said before in one of the streams, many, right? We getting busy. A lot of people can comment on a community college, a technical college, but nobody never went there who's talking about them. Hands down, Henry Felton, speaking on behalf of Creator, I went there. I went to a 2 year college and slash technical school. And I'll tell you one thing, that's the driving mechanism of a 2 year vocational. 2 years been on the rise of enrollment. They have not been declining. They've been rising. Why? Because students want to go save money. They've been rising up. I can't tell you the age differences, but they've been rising. And it never went out of style. It's only being highlighted because of the current administration wants to angle it that way. Coming from a person who did welding, I did a certified manufacturing specialist certificate as well. And I would tell you now, yes, if you do a trade back in like 2017 when I was fresh out of high school, you was stepping into a job making 60K plus as an 18-year-old. If not 68, you was gonna be making 45 to 60K easy. Yes. But what they want to do is steer that way because they know universities are getting so expensive. And if university gets so expensive, students can't really go to school. And then, workforce declines and everything. But I guess we have a shortage. I can't speak on this. My people out there who in the trade field can speak on it. Or we can look at the data. I think it's a trade shortage going on. I think we don't have enough people doing those welding jobs, plumbing jobs, and many more, right? So I see where they're trying to go with that. But as I tell people, a trade is cool, but you should get your bachelor's. Even if you only say, "Oh, I'm just getting a welding degree, I'm gonna be welding," you should have a bachelor. You can get a welding. You can get a bachelor's in welding. Yes, you can. The way it'll be set up, they can divvy that thing up. You might get associates. You might focus on welding and then complete your general study classes and then bridge to a 4 year. And you might, depending on the school you go to, you can rig it up as like I got a bachelor's in welding. They can rig anything up. If they can still raise prices and when they not enrolling more students, they can rig up a degree for you. But yeah. And then if you get a certificate in like coding courses, oh, we have 54 minutes. We've been getting it. If you get like if you take coding courses, like you just need this course to make this amount of money, I do feel like you need to know like some people need workplace, what's that word? Workplace training. Some people need workplace like navigation. I know people who got like the certificate, but they didn't stay long at the job. The job let them go, or they wasn't really like meshing in with the job. That could be anybody with a degree, honestly. Going through workplace hiccups, but it's hard to navigate when you just know like I just got these certificates. I was just supposed to come do my job. Sometimes it's not that simple. People make it complicated for you to go to work. With so many college graduates in recent years, the value of a college degree has gone down. Many are Underemployed. I kid you not. She said underemployed. I think she did that intentional. They're underemployed. Didn't know that was a word. But it sounds like they're, I don't know what that means. I gotta look that up. Underemployed. Of a person not having enough paid work or not doing work that makes full use of their skills and abilities. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Not having enough paid work. I'm assuming you're not getting paid enough. You pay more for your degree, and yeah, that's what I'm assuming underemployed means. But yeah, that's what she said. The college degree has gone down, but the college degree, people say that, man. Like I said, I got a problem with that stigma. Like they say a college degree is going down, but when you say a college degree is going down, people still, like I said, the rich, the wealthy, the billionaires, they're still sending their kids to, they're still sending their kids to college, the wealthy. No matter how we frame it, like the value of a college degree is going down. I don't think so. Because I'm gonna get some game real quick. I wish we had more people drop. I wish y'all would stay in the chat. Y'all come in and y'all leave. I'm gonna start calling y'all out. Y'all lucky I can't see y'all name. But here's some quick game. If you want to work for a three-letter agency, you need a bachelor's degree. If you want to, well, technically, if you wanted to run for political office, if you want to run for political office, you don't need a bachelor's, but you need a bachelor's. And so, if you want to, what's that other job? If you want to go far and advance your career in the military, for example, you need to have a bachelor's. If you want to, what's that? Become a detective in the police, you need a bachelor's. If you want to do a simple job that I'm telling you, some jobs you don't need a bachelor's for, but you need to get a bachelor's to do that job, you need a bachelor's. If you want a desk job, keep your hands nice, you need a bachelor's. They don't say that, but that's the truth. The real truth that you need to get your bachelor's, man. You gotta get your education, man. Don't be distracted. Like listening to these people, these little content creators who, what I mean, like content creator, I'm talking about people on YouTube, like me. I don't care how I phrase it. Yeah, this is a media business I want to do, respectfully. But I'm a YouTuber. When I post my videos to YouTube, I work for YouTube technically until they start paying me. So until then, these people saying, oh, these people on YouTube, social media saying, oh, you don't need a college degree. I got far without one. You need one. And that's real. You need one. Coming from a person who did trades first, and then the mindset changed when I got my bachelor's, now I'm getting my master's, PhD now. But it changes your mindset, man. Like you're naturally gonna like that's why you see people who are like lawyers, medical field, they can like naturally, like I like the stock market. They can just naturally invest in the stock market and keep wealth going for themselves. Now some are hitting rock bottom, don't get me wrong. But a lot of them, the majority, they read so much like cases, procedures, people they're gonna come across, patients they working on, like who are savvy in other areas, right? Cause you gotta think about it. Ain't nobody, like if you a lawyer, unless you like a public defender, you're not gonna have a client who is essentially insufficient in funds. If you a lawyer, all your clients gonna have some type of funds. Especially if you're a good lawyer, You're talking to people who are savvy in banking and all that, who gonna give you game on investing and know how to do that. So that's how like the wealth spreads. Same thing for a doctor. Once that doctor fits up that person who's a stockbroker, real estate guru or whatever, they gonna be like, oh, thank you, doc. And the doc might get curious and say, what you do for a living? Oh, I do real estate, da da da. And I had to get this procedure done. I gotta go back to work though. I gotta get better. And like, then be like, how that work? Then, look, now you getting that information, right? I'm telling you, that's how it works. That's why you gotta keep going to school. It spreads, like the information is invaluable. And so right here they said new colleges are starting up, spurred by a growing number of homeschooled students and graduates of classical Christian schools. They want a serious classical education, which is not available at most schools. I don't know much about Christian schools, classical education. New colleges are starting up. That is true, but I don't think they're gonna last long. I don't think they're gonna last long. I think if you go to a new college, like a new like school trying to be like, do not go to schools that are advertised by celebrities. Remember, celebrities are athletes. If they didn't study, in my career field at least, I feel like anything, like when they had the big FTX collapse, if you don't know about that, it was a Ponzi scheme, right? And they had all these celebrities, athletes mostly, that was like, and they had very big wealthy people advertising like you need to invest in FTX. You need to invest in FTX. It collapsed. People lost millions. People lost their whole life savings and whole shebang. Stuffy. And so don't listen to them because athletes don't know as much as you. For example, I'm not talking about athletes, I'm just talking about in general. If somebody's telling you you should invest in this, now I know you hear this, but this was like a big one. FTX, who just dropped in, oh, zero. Now, hold on, I'll go from zero. Y'all ain't dropped out, right? Hold on now. Come back. I'm gonna keep going now. So FTX was a big Ponzi scheme, and athletes, rich people, whatever, were advertising it. In my career field, I'm starting to see that a lot. I'm starting to see advertisement from celebrities on what college you should go to. Don't do that because these new colleges that are popping up, I don't know if they're accredited. I'm gonna be real. You don't know if they're accredited. I don't know if they're accredited. We don't know. Like they're saying, oh, you can finish your degree and you can finish get your bachelor's in 2 years. No such thing as cutting corners in this field. Any field, you can't cut corners to get anywhere. Be careful because you can end up at a school and they can shut down. College makes a lot of money. Remember that. Higher education makes a lot of money. This is not a broke industry. This is $1 trillion industry for a reason. Schools make billions of dollars a year. Some schools. Please keep that in mind. So be mindful of that. Rising tuition is going to discourage students if they understand the cost of accepting federal loans. Boom. Let's go back like 2 screens ago, I think. One of them. We talked about Scott Bessent. Scott Bessent, one of my guys. If you don't know, he's the U.S. Treasury for the United States of America. Scott Bessent has now said they're going to start teaching financial literacy in schools. Now, I don't know how true that is. I don't know how fast it's going to be implemented, but they said Americans deserve to know financial literacy. Now, she just said in this post on LinkedIn that if students learn about accepting federal loans with rising tuition, they're not going to go to college, which is true. Most kids are like 18, fresh out of high school. They don't know what a loan is. They don't know what a debit and a credit is. They don't know, they don't know unless their parent tell them. And so if you don't know, well, if you do know, you ain't gonna do it. And like I say, man, they raising tuition. I was in the middle of it. I lived it. I navigated it. I got a debt-free degree. I should start saying that a little more. I got a debt-free degree. And what I do, I went to a 2-year. I stayed there for about 3 years. You'll probably say like three, was it three? Let me say it. How I say it. I stayed there for like 2.5 years. And then I went to my university for a year and a half, pretty much, which should make 4. Guys, I didn't miss nothing at my university. I promise you. I walked in there with money, which gonna lead to our last segment. I walked in there with money in my pocket when I transferred to my university. It wasn't peaches and cream. Don't let me fool you. I had a financial advisor. It wasn't really helping me like navigate higher education, but I had money set aside if I needed it, right? I had money set aside for myself. I had money on another account, on another brokerage account for investing, right? That's how I invested in Palantir. I did that in 2021. Why am I telling you this? Because, man, it changed my life. I told the story about my boy Fred on one of the live streams. Long story short, Fred was misled by a school, and he was supposed to get a partial scholarship to play baseball. He did it. The college misled him, lied to him. He ended up going to the Air Force, and he died in a car crash in Germany. Why I tell that story? I don't like that. You lied. You say, oh, you want honesty, integrity, and all that. A college say that. They live and they got these suits. They got all this money. Fred was from poverty, man. Section 8. He went to a Title I historical black high school like me. We grew up, we played on a Little League baseball team together. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't tell the truth. That's a problem. And it was an HBCU. To add some context to it. It was an HBCU. I'm not saying that it was destined. I'm not going to say it wasn't his time. But I'm saying, like, every decision leads you to your fate. And I don't think that was right, personally. Should have told him, like, this how much he looking to pay. And people don't think about that until they get to the school and they got to come back home. And so this wasn't pretty. That leads to the last one. This wasn't pretty. So when I was doing my higher education journey, nose running a little bit, I think, but we almost done. Well, we got to do a breakdown of a college. We're gonna do Syracuse University. So when I was it wasn't pretty, y'all. Well, I'm about to write this down real quick. Spell that. University. Excuse me. So it wasn't pretty. This wasn't pretty. When I was starting at my 2-year, then bridging to my 4-year. Remember, I started at a 2-year college. Man, I had somebody drop in. I wasn't talking fast enough. I'm sorry. So I started at 2-year, bridged to a 4-year. I bought my first car. This is about my car. I bought my first car for $2,500 cash. $2,500. Hey, I got the last bit of good before inflation hit after that pandemic. I got the least. I understand what people saying, like, I don't think people understand our generation. Like, what we going through right now, my bad, table. I don't think they understand what we going through our generation. Y'all do know, like, life is harder for people who live, like, you graduated high school. I graduated in 2017. Anybody after 2017, you are living a hard life. Or you living a good, great life. Some of y'all thriving, but most hard, probably hard. Because when they did those PPP loans and all that, man, that raised everything up. Like I said, I got that car for 2,500. A used car now is like 6 or 7 grand, I think, maybe a little more. A good used car, like you could probably back before the pandemic, you can get a car that was let me out, y'all. You could get a car that was decent or low on mile. I'll say decent on mileage for a good low price. I had got that car. That car was great. I'm not gonna tell you no story. I drove that car everywhere though. I drove it. I think I drove it too much. Too me. I think I drove it too far. I should have kept it in the city. I think that's what I should have did. But that car used to break down, man. Like as I kept driving it, traveling, it started breaking down on me. I kept putting money in it. I kept putting money in it. And I say that because I still came out on top with a debt-free degree. It was times when I'm like trying to do this, and I'm like, bro, my car is breaking down. And then I'm still like, I'll put like, I'm not gonna lie, I never went over the value of what I paid for the car. Like I paid 2,500. I never paid for one job. They call it mechanic world like a job. I never paid more than 2,500 for a job, but I did used to pay like 800, 1,600, $1,000 constantly fixing that car, and I still had to turn around and put money to pay for school, put money away. That's why I say college is not that expensive to be honest, but it's too high for most people. And that journey of when I was riding in that car from 2 year to 4 year, shoot, even my master's a little bit. That's when it went out on me. My master's this year, not this year, 2024 went out, and then it was done. But that car kept breaking down on me, and I kept trying to pay. I was paying for school in cash, making sure I'm getting those student loans. And I'm gonna tell y'all, it was some dark days. Cause sometimes I broke down one time in the middle of the night. Car broke down in the middle of the night. I always had somebody say, man, you need to let that car go. You need to let that car go. That car ain't for you no more. You need to let that car go. I ain't listen. I can't let that car go. I was stuck on that car. But it ain't pretty, man. Like the journey to getting a debt free degree was not perfect. It wasn't pretty. Cause I was still going through regular normal stuff. That's why I say I'm normal. Like I still was having family problems. I was still having car problems. I was still having problems. I was still having problems. School problems. I was still having, what's another problem? Work problems. I was having all kinds of normal problems on the path to getting a debt-free degree. But one thing I just wanted to make sure was like, I don't want student loans. I seen what it did to my peers. I don't want student loans. And I meant that. Would I have student loans if I was trying to go to law school? No. Because what I would have did, I would have kept investing and I just kept working jobs close. That's just for people like who out there want to go. Like people out there who are going to law school, but law school is expensive. Med school is expensive and stuff. And it's like really hard to combat. Like, what solution would you have for that, Henry? I'd be like, you got to stack your bread, stack your money. That means you need to get a good paying job. I would say that, very good paying job, and stash that money away. And then you got to bet on yourself when you start med school, law school, whatever school that's expensive. Yeah, you ain't gonna do it at what? I'm 26. Yeah, you might not get it done at 26 or 27, but that gives you time to prep, read all the law books you can, navigate those. So when you go to law school, you mentally ready. You've been reading, you've been practicing yourself, working at the law firms and stuff. So that's one way you can navigate. I feel like prep yourself for law school and med school, but it wasn't pretty getting a debt-free degree, man, and it wasn't perfect. It had a lot of professionals who didn't think they think my debt-free degree came solely from being a Pell Grant student. But then I tell them I paid my money out of pocket to go in grad school. I chose a grad school that wasn't crazy expensive. I chose a university that wasn't crazy expensive. I chose a 2-year college when everybody chose a university. Everybody could do it. It's normal. I didn't have an academic scholarship. I had, I said academic. I didn't have an athletic scholarship. I didn't have an academic scholarship either. I started on the Metro bus. And then I didn't even like people knowing I rode the Metro bus at the time. This before it got cool to tell you struggle. It was kind of, I grew up in the time you couldn't tell your struggle. You didn't get cool points or notice for that. Never, it was not. I don't know where that come from, man. That was not the move back then. So, with all that being said, let's talk about Syracuse University so y'all can go. Because we talked a good amount, but, hey, man, y'all got a life to get to. It's 9:15 Eastern time. Let y'all get a hint on that. I'm waiting on my mouse to come back to life. And then, okay, you want to play games with me. I get it. Better. So, the college scorecard. We'll just use that. We're about to look up Syracuse University. Guys, I'll be honest. I have not had a chance to clip up all these videos I'm making from live streaming. I have not had a chance to clip them up. I'll probably have a chance when the holidays come up. Hopefully. Why did it do that? Why did it do that? College, like I didn't save it. Y'all see me struggling? Okay, Syracuse. Easy. There's only one Syracuse out there. And it's in New York. My goodness. I feel sorry for y'all, man. If you go to Syracuse, it's in New York. You definitely don't need a car while you go there. You don't need a car. You just need to go to class and walk everywhere. So, and let me pull up their school website. Syracuse. Come on, Wi-Fi, you doing good. So Syracuse, as it loads back up, let me put this up here. So Syracuse graduation rate is 83%, which is good. It's above the 58% for four-year schools. The average annual cost at Syracuse University is $41,000. Oh my, is that accurate? Annual? Every year you're gonna pay about $41,000? That's wild. That's wild. That's a lot of money, man. I see why they doing them, dropping those packets like that. Syracuse tuition. As y'all like to know, I like to do Syracuse. I like to do, and they're private. Interesting. So Syracuse University tuition and fees. I did not know Syracuse was a private institution. Did not know that. So yeah, that makes sense why they're expensive, but still. Are they private? I'm gonna look them up. Hold on. Google will tell you easy. This is interesting. I did not know Syracuse was private. They must be very. Syracuse University, yeah, private university, and I'm not pronouncing that, in New York. And yep, Otto the Orange. I did not know they were private. So that makes sense why they're so expensive. You can't get mad at Syracuse. They're private. That makes sense. Not backing them up. I'm just saying they are. I won't touch a private school. I will never go to a private school. Like me personally. I just know a private school is way more expensive. Like that goes for any level of schooling you going to, med school, law school, PT school, whatever school. Like it's expensive. So right here it says cost of attendance for 2025, 2026. You looking at 66 grand for tuition. Wow. Then you looking at living on campus for housing and food. You looking at 19 grand. And then some other stuff. Your total cost of attendance. They say, yeah, Columbia was, oh, that's G. We got G back in the chat. The total cost for Syracuse University is 92 grand. Jeez. With health insurance, 94 grand. Jeez. That's only for 1 year. It's only for 1 year. It's not even multiple years. It's for 1 year. That's a part. I didn't even pay that much for all of my colleges. Maybe I did. No, I haven't paid. I probably didn't pay 50 grand for all my schools combined. What's up, G? I see you in the chat. Yeah, Columbia was and still is the most expensive university to ever attend in the world, if I'm not mistaken. We can chat GPT that, but right now, Syracuse University is crazy in prices right now, though. Wow. Do we know what Syracuse is known for? I might be naive right now to this. I'm going to say I'm naive. Syracuse could be that guy at something. They could be known for something. I just don't know about it. But right now, I've been pretty good, G. I've been pretty good. I've been pretty good. We talked a little bit. We've been talking a lot about things. I told a little story about my car, my old car, and how it used to break down on me while I was getting my debt-free degree. But everything on my journey to getting a debt-free degree in college was not pretty. Paying for the car, constantly trying to fix it up so I can keep getting back and forth because I'm in Georgia, so I have to get around. We don't really rely on trains and stuff. And, you know, day to day, honestly. Remember, I told y'all I left my job. So, trying to get another job in that process. If not, something. And so, normal guy stuff. And making a way until this takes off one day. So they say they average annual cost is $41,000 on College Scorecard. That ain't accurate at all. That ain't accurate. Huh? How you know that, G? Did you look that up? I know you randomly just don't know that unless you from up north. Are you from up north? Why you leave your job if they ain't? Oh no, it's okay. I left it for I won't say the details, but I left because of the work environment. It was like a not good work environment. It wasn't really, it wasn't a good work environment. And I know the person I talked to multiple of my peers in my circle about it. And they was like, yeah, that's not normal. That's not, So I saved up enough money and I left. I put my 2 week notice in. I was accepted into that far when I was applying to college, which is also in New York. So you were in New York though, right, G? If you don't mind me asking. You were up north? Upstate New York. So you are from upstate New York? We're waiting for the yes or no when G responds. Average annual costs. And then, but they did say the return on investment. That's where I went to school, but no, I'm actually like you. Southern boy. Okay, okay. You went far. You went far. I wonder how that was. And so the return on investment at Syracuse University was is because they say it's for financial aid. I don't know why they only compared it to financial aid, but they said the return on investment after 10 years after going to Syracuse, you're going to get at least 79 minimum. You're going to make 79 a year. I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty. For all the money you paying for go there, You're going to be in a lot of debt because 90, unless you just got the money, 90, pretty much 90 grand a year. Oh my. Was you on a full ride, G? Was you on a full ride at Columbia? I gotta ask. Were you on a full ride? Nah, G, I'm still traveling for work. So, G, I'll tell you now. So, I'm in the military. So, I'm in the military. That's my traveling for work. So, that's why you see me in these different hotels and stuff. I had talked to a close person to me. I talked to my girlfriend about it, and she was like, "Yeah, it's okay. You should probably tell them, like once the chat grows." So I'm military. That's why I travel sometimes. So we talked about the cost, and I see you said some other stuff in here, G. No, bro. Okay. Both of my parents they retired now. Shout out to them. Tell them I appreciate them. Being in the military, it changes your perspective on a lot of things after being in, especially with the way social media is going in the civilian world. Because the way I grew up, I feel like I've never been a civilian personally. Seen things early I shouldn't have seen as a kid. And it's a lot of people. I tell stories when I talk. I'm telling their story. They say, "Yeah, I got a full ride to every school I applied to except Emory." Tough, tough. I didn't know you had got a full ride everywhere. That's tough. I like that. Graduation rate, you from Georgia, right? Yeah, I'm from Georgia. Born and raised. Graduation rate is 83%. I think we said that. But students who return after their first year is 91%. This is Syracuse University for the chat, whoever in here right now. The debt, you looking at 26 minimum, 26,000. 36% of students receive federal loans. Like I said, this is a private school, guys. I don't really critique private schools because I didn't know Syracuse University was a private school, but I don't critique them because private schools, if you're private, obviously you know why you're going there. If they're private, you know you're finna pay that fat bill going there. So I don't really trip on the pricing there with private because the private, that's their business. And then G said one more thing. Yeah, I think you said it. Just remembering. Yeah. Now you good. You good. Private schools tend to be more generous. What you mean by more generous? Oh, with financial aid. Okay. Yeah, I'll bring my financial aid guru on here one day once we up the studio slowly. Um, and then acceptance rate is 42%. They said it was like 30. I think in that article they said it was about. Let me see how accurate that is. Let me see if they. Yeah, they said Syracuse acceptance rate was 42% last year. So they must got this from the college scorecard because that's what I'm looking at too, 42%. And so pretty much what I say about Syracuse, what I rate them a S for being Syracuse because they private. So they do their own thing, um, and it's private. Can't really say much about them because, like I said, anybody who goes to a private school, you need to know like you're going to pay a big bill. And I feel like G said something that it just hasn't hit the there you go. All schools except one with financial aid. It said all the schools except one that I applied to were private, and all of them were paying me to come. See, they were paying G to come. We didn't even know that they were paying him to come. You learn so much talking to people. So that's pretty much it. We will be live tomorrow. depending on the schedule, what time, but we should be on the same time. We start at 8 o'clock today, no set schedule. We'll be back tomorrow, and they give us time to see what's going to be posted, and we'll be back in the studio very soon so I can play things out loud and clips because I can't play my clips on this monitor. So we'll be back. No, you good. No, you be busy. You doing your thing, G. You are good. You have a life. Yes, peace. You have a life. You have a life. And that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, and be safe, and we'll see you again, and all the good stuff.